All right, children, welcome back to AP Macroeconomics with your favorite teacher, me, Senor Taytay. Today we're going to talk about opportunity cost, comparative advantage, and why we trade. Hooray! All right, before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe and tell all your friends so that I get monetized and make all of the money and I can buy more shoes and coffee. So today's lesson, remember, we are talking about opportunity cost, comparative advantage, and trade. Remember that trade is not about screwing the other country over or the other state over in this regard. It's gonna be about everybody benefiting, because when we trade, we can consume beyond our production possibilities curve. So let's look here. First, let's talk about comparative and absolute advantage. I pointed at the wrong one, but whatever. Absolute advantage is just gonna be who makes more. And so if we've got Texas and Michigan, and we're making tacos and cars, this is an output problem. You can tell that it's an output problem because it doesn't talk about how many inputs it takes to produce each good. I'll explain that on the next part of the video. And also, it just straight up says that this is what they can produce. Usually when you get to an output problem, like on the AP test or something, it's gonna say, using equal resources, Texas and Michigan can make so many amount of cars and tacos. So if we look here, with an output problem, we're looking for the largest number. 10 tacos is bigger than 4. Texas has the absolute advantage in producing tacos. We're just better at it, which makes sense. We make so many tacos. We're great at it. And then for cars, Michigan is better at producing cars because 20 is greater than 5. You get out your little crocodile and you get your munch on, and you know who's doing what. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Michigan. Pretend that says Michigan and it's good. It doesn't look like a weird bird in a you know, the birds when you draw them. On to comparative advantage. With comparative advantage, we are looking at who gives up the least of the alternative good. We need to find out who has the lowest opportunity cost in producing that good. So to figure out our comparative advantage for making tacos in Texas, we have to do some math. We take the other number and put it over. When it is an output problem, the other goes over. Just remember, output, other, over. So we take the other, the 5 cars we could have produced, put it over the 10 tacos we make, and 5 divided by 10 is 1/2, and that's 1/2 car. I would write it like this because I've been doing this for years, and when I don't write it in the little box here, I forget what the H I'm looking at. So I would keep it all together here, and that'll make more sense when you start trying to do these on your own. So for Michigan, we take the 20 cars, and put it over the 4 tacos that they could have made. 20 divided by 4 is 5 cars. When Michigan makes 1 taco, they have to stop producing 5 cars. Tacos are tough. For Texas, we give up 1/2 car, so we are the taco producing people. We have the lowest. Texas has the lowest opportunity cost in producing cars. Half is smaller than 5. Again, you just get out your little guy, your little alligator, get your munch on. Now we gotta figure out the opportunity cost for producing a car. Again, you take the other and put it over. 10 divided by 5 is 2 tacos. And then for Michigan, you take the other, 4 divided by 20, and that is 1/5 taco, unless I can't math. All right, and there we go. And that means that Michigan is gonna be the better taco producer. Now, you also will sometimes run into what we call an input problem. And you can tell it's an input problem because it will tell you how many inputs it takes to produce each unit of goods, or each, in this case, car or computer. So what this is saying, it takes 10 hours of labor for Canada to make a car, 5 hours of labor for Mexico to make a car, hours per car. Remember, inputs are the things that a business has to purchase in order to produce their goods and services. Like if I have a bakery that makes cookies, one of my inputs will be sugar and another one will be chocolate chips, stuff like that. So, when it's an input problem, you're looking for absolute advantage, you're looking for the lowest number actually. Because if it takes Canada 10 hours to make 1 car and Mexico 5, Mexico's better at it because 5 hours is a shorter amount of time than 10. So, Mexico is better at making these cars. Computers, 1 is smaller than 5. Mexico has the absolute advantage in producing both goods. That does not mean that Mexico will not trade with Canada, because trade isn't based on absolute advantage, it's based on opportunity costs and comparative advantage. We don't care who makes more, we care who makes it for the lowest opportunity cost, or the cheapest, or gives up the least of the alternative good. When it's an input problem, to figure out opportunity costs, we take the other number and put it under. To figure out the opportunity cost of making 1 car in Canada, we take the 5 hours it takes them to make a computer and put it under the 10 hours it takes to produce a car, and that comes out to 2 computers. And what that means, every time Canada makes 1 car, they have to stop producing 2 computers. For Mexico, again, the other goes under. We put the 1 hour it takes to make a computer under the 5 hours it takes to produce a car, and that comes out to 5 computers. So that means for cars, Canada has the comparative advantage. Oops, that's a CA, good God. That's Canada. Canada has a comparative advantage because 2 computers is less than 5 computers. And that means that Mexico must obviously have the comparative advantage in computers. But let's prove it here. We take the other number and put it under. 5 divided by 10 is 1/2 of a car. And for Mexico, it's 1/5 of a car. And 1/5 is smaller than 1/2. Now we gotta figure out a trade deal. Oh my God, let's do it. Again, I like to write who is doing what on top of my trade deal so that I can keep track of what's happening. Cars are gonna be produced by Canada, so I'm writing CA there. Mexico is making the computers. All right, for Canada, when they stop producing 1 car domestically within their own borders, they get back 2 computers. So they would much rather trade that 1 car to Mexico for 5 computers. Canada loves this deal. Let's see if Mexico's happy though. For Mexico, if they want to get 1 car, they have to stop producing 5 computers. So they are not gonna wanna trade 5 computers to Canada for 1 car because they can literally do that on their own. In order for this deal to work out for both countries, it has to be somewhere between the 2 computers for Canada and the 5 computers for Mexico. So as long as this number is greater than 2 and less than 5, both countries will be happy. Let's do 3. Canada's still happy because when they let go of 1 car, domestically they get back 2 computers. 3 is greater than that. When Mexico wants 1 car, they have to give up 5 computers. 3 is less than that. The deal now works for both countries. Everybody's happy. Hooray! So again, trade, not based on absolute advantage, it's based on comparative advantage, which in turn is based on opportunity cost. The countries with the lowest opportunity cost will specialize in that good and then trade with the other countries for all the other stuff they need. Join me again next time when we talk about more stuff that I have not planned yet. But goodbye, have fun at school.